I decided to go in the closet for this one because this my experience is gonna be like a little different. By the way, don't worry about my figure right now. Obviously something happened, and that's not the point of this video. So I want to talk about not one of the most infamous reading apps, but pretty much it's one I use. By the way, I have my freaking setup in a weird spot. Usually I would have it like right here, which actually looks a lot better. And this is just Louis' work stuff right next to it. Don't know why it's in the shot. But what I was going to say was why am I making this is because I love and I really, really hate Webtoon. All right, so if you don't know what Webtoon is an app that has tons, hundreds upon hundreds of stories, and it allows creators from all around the world to create a Webtoon comic and make money from their Webtoon comics through there. Kind of like how manga works, but instead on a big ass app, on an app for everyone to use. That's pretty much the gist of this of Webtoon. Okay, and welcome to stream. By the way, can you guys like the video? I appreciate that. Anyways, like I said, Toon Web. Hi man, how have you been? I like Webtoon. Hey. Welcome Maya, welcome Aaron, welcome how y'all doing this morning? But I love and hate this app because I could be gone. Okay, so let's start from the top. How did I even discover Webtoon? It was like I can't remember what year it was, but it was like 2015, 2016, maybe 2017, 2018, maybe 2019 even was the first time I discovered Webtoon. And I think it was because I was so I think it was because I was so bored. Freaking hair in my mouth. I think it was because I was so bored that I wanted to did you change your place? No, I'm just in my closet. This is just my closet. I got so bored that I decided, hey, you know what? Why don't we fucking read? Keep in mind, chat. I do a lot of things if I'm bored. Like I almost do just about anything if I'm bored, just to satisfy myself. Because usually, what happens when I'm bored is I will literally go around like I'd bother the shit out of Louis. Y'all know I bother the shit out of Louis sometimes. I would bother him. I would bother some other people. Whatever. I do whatever I can to be unbored. And that's why Louis hates it whenever I do get bored, because I end up bothering him just for my own satisfaction, just for my own amusement. AKA like poking him and shit, like poking him, being like, bro, like just doing stuff, right? And I just decided one day I'm gonna read, and I downloaded the Webtoons app. I made an account. Now, this is also another thing I kind of hate is making and getting rid of an account on Webtoons. It's kind of complicated for some reason. They don't even have just big old delete button. They just want to like, what kind of series do you read in Webtoon? I was reading. I'll get to that actually here in a second, so I can tell you, because there are some pretty good stories that I've been reading. At least I just caught my eye. I remember when I first downloaded the app, I didn't know what to read, but I found 3 to 4 stories that I just kind of stuck with me every time I downloaded Webtoons, re-downloaded Webtoons. And I remember I read a story called Webtoon means Manawa, I guess. I don't know. Do you read Sub Firo? No, I've never heard of that one. But I'm gonna tell you, when I downloaded it, I didn't know like what stories to really get into, so I just found like three to four stories, 5 stories that. And I remember at the time, one of them was Lumine, about a boy wolf, a wolf, white-haired wolf boy, and his assistant Cody, for his friend Cody that he wants to protect. It's about them. All right. So Sub-Zero, not Sub-Zero, fuck. So it'd be Lumine, Watermelon, and Let's Play. These were the three webtoons that I would actually sit and read. And I remember I was reading Lumine, and this is the I love webtoons aspect of it, right? So the reason why I love it so much, I loved it, was because I actually loved reading Lumine, Let's Play, and Watermelon, because to me they were great stories, you know. And I was getting so sucked into Lumine that I remember, like, my whole body was just sweating because I've never seen the story anywhere. I've never heard of the story anywhere. I've never even bothered, you know what I mean? And you guys know me. I'm a very reactional person, so very emotional and reactionary person. So my first was nice to meet you. It was romance. Got you. Yeah, but I remember I was getting so intense with the story that, like, I was just sweating, but I was sitting there reading that webtoon for hours. It went from 6 to 7 o'clock to 12 to 1 o'clock in the morning. I remember reading my first webtoon. I was like, what the fuck? Because, like, it was like that moment I had when I was playing Super Mario 64 for like hours upon hours straight, and I looked once up at the clock or at the timer, and I was like, it's nighttime. When the hell was it nighttime, bro? You know? I file you. Yeah. But I remember when that happened, I was so invested into the story. And I think I remember I finished Lumine. And I was like, get the first 3 new chapters. This is going to be a recurring thing. Get the first 3 new chapters coming out around this time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get the 3 new chapters. You had to pay up money for these in-app coins. You have to keep up with these in-game coins, buy those in-game coins, purchase the next 3 chapters early. And I'm like, I gotta do what? Are you keeping up with 1,000 Blower Anime? Yes and no. There's a big chunk of yes and there's a big chunk of no. But I remember I was so pissed because I was just getting into Lumen. I was just going to be like, I'm about to read this every single goddamn day. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this every day, guys. And then that shit happened to me. That completely ripped me out of that story. And I was like, fuck. Right? Because I don't, look, when I read, when I like reading something, or just me, this is me in general, because keep this in mind, since I don't read a lot, I play way more video games nowadays. So I'm used to the whole thing of getting into it, getting invested, seeing it all the way through to the end, no matter if it's a series of video games or just one-off game, loving it and then moving on, right? But also, like, always remembering it, cherishing it. With Lumine, since it's still an ongoing story, I have no idea what the ending is like. And the thing is, after I finished Lumine, I said, okay, let's go to Watermelon. I read Watermelon because I was getting addicted to the Watermelon story. The same shit happened to me. I finished it. I finished all the chapters I had available in like just a few hours because that's what I was doing. I was literally just on my bed. These were way after streams, and I was just benching these stories. And what continuously kept pissing me off was every time I got invested in a story, it fucking ends. All right? I have to wait a week and a half. I have to wait 2 weeks for the next chapter. I have to wait until the creator makes another 1 chapter. And then, like, once I finish it, I have to wait for that one episode this week, that episode that week. And I know that's how it is for manga and all that other sort of stuff. But I barely read manga as it is. That's why I don't give a fuck. But for me with this webtoon shit, I kind of did give a fuck because I didn't want to wait to see how the story turns out. I wanted to see it through right then and there, or at least read until I was done and then come back tomorrow and be able to bench it again, which is why I decided I'm done with Webtoon. I'm gonna delete my shit. I'm done. Read Global Freeze. What? What do you mean read Global Freeze? On Webtoon. But anyways, I said I'm fucking done with this app. I fucking hate this app. Which video from yesterday's reaction live stream made you uncomfortable? I don't know what video. There was probably the song Hurtful. If I had to take a wild guess. That one, and then some of the weirder ones that I was like, Like, not made me feel uncomfortable, it was just different. But anyways, that's what made me uninstall Webtoon for the first time. And I said, you know what? Fuck these stories. I'm not even going to bother getting invested into Webtoon stories. Why? Because Webtoon, to me, was so fucking cool, but it is so easily addictive to be on that app for hours reading one fucking story. And I can tell you from experience because I spent hours doing that. It's insane, right? So I deleted it for years or for months, bro. This is also another thing that bothers me about Webtoon. I can leave and come back, and there's barely anything new to the stories that I want to read. So, like, for example, when I came back to Webtoon for the second time, I completely forgotten what Lumine was all about. I completely forgot. I completely forgot what Lumine was all about. I completely forgot most of the story of Watermelon. I completely forgot why I deleted this app in the first place. So when I went back to that app to read more, there was more. There was more chapters. There was more stuff out. So I was happy. But at the same time, I went through the same thing again for the second time. I finished up everything. And then when I finished up everything, I felt the goddamn same. So then I deleted it again and waited even longer than last time, which instead of months turned into maybe a few years, or maybe another few months, as in like 4, 5, 6 months of stuff, like nearing the end of that year. And then I did it again, and then it just endlessly repeats, because what happened was just last night, which again, a few years back, Lumine, Watermelon, and Let's Play, I kind of completely just subscribed to Let's Play because I didn't just continue reading it because it was a romance story, but there's whatever, right? I wanted Lumine and Watermelon. Those are like my two top for me. They take long breaks. Yes, I know that. But like, holy fuck. I came back again this year and it happened to me again. Just yesterday, for the third, fourth, maybe fifth time I was on on Webtoon. It happened to me again. I got invested into these stories just for me to see it end. With the get 3 chapters now for this amount of in-game currency that you have to spend real money on to access these next chapters. That is literally why I wanted to make this video, because to me, I love Webtoons as an app, but don't get me invested in something and then not have enough chapters for me to fucking finish. Like, I get it, and I 100% get this. The creators have their own lives. They need to eat, drink, sleep. They need to do all the human stuff. Right? They need to do that, obviously. I'm not saying be a robot and create story for me 24/7. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is I'm sick and tired of barely being able to have this story finished. I don't like that shit. You don't give me enough to be satisfied. You don't give me enough. And it's also very simple to read, so I could read it and actually be like, oh, I can get through this. But you don't give me enough chapters to go off on. You don't do that. All you do is fucking, you have like a good maybe 100, 200 chapters or whatever the fuck. And obviously 100, 200 chapters, okay. In an anime, 200 episodes, that's a long fucking time, all right, when you're watching each and every single one individually, right? But when you're reading a manga comic book, all that stuff, 200 can go by real fucking fast depending on what you're reading. So, for example, a manga. My nigga Ambu was talking about last night / yesterday. I benched all of Ippo. Alright, Hachino Ippo's manga. In a month and a half, I did all that. And I was like, and that was over 1,400 chapters. Okay? These stories on Webtoon don't even have that amount of chapters. Okay? Let's Play, even if I combine them, Let's Play, Lumine, and Watermelon, if I combine them, they'll probably be like about 500 pages of something each. Okay? That's the wild part about all this. And again, that's the whole reason why I'm mad, is because I at least want something like what Ambu had, a whole month's worth of content, a whole something worth of content on Webtoon. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just, just having a simple 100 or 200 chapters. I want to read more, right? I want to get invested more, but I can't because of these chapters being fucking laid off and shit. You know? No. Pirating off something from the internet is actually illegal. You should think about it. They should do so you would spend real money in the app. Bro, 2024, everyone pirates stuff. That's facts. It's a Maha thing. Funny thing, I never heard of Webtoon before. I never heard of Webtoon until I got bored, my friend. But, geez, man. And I know this episode of my experience is a little short, but it really does bother me every single goddamn day that... Or not every single goddamn day, but ever since I did this shit again, that I fell for it. I fell for the trap of getting myself back into Webtoon, reading the same stories I left off on, starting from the beginning, and feeling like I don't have enough content to just read. And Louis was telling me last night, why don't you just read another story? There's millions of stories on that damn thing, and you're only interested in like 3 to 4 of them? Yes and no. Alright? I am interested in more stories. There's probably some more stories I haven't gotten myself into, but that's one of the reasons why I love and hate the Webtoons app / getting into reading these Webtoon comics is I love them. I start to love them. I get invested, and it's over now. Right as I feel like I'm in it, it ends up ending. It's so stupid. I am reading like 7 stories in the app. Right, 7. That's not even that much more than me. That's like 4 or 5 more stories than me. And don't get me wrong, this isn't me saying Webtoons is a bad app, but damn, man, like I feel like because I was like, dude, if I was like making my own Webtoon, I'd probably make that shit like, I don't know, every goddamn day of 20-something pages, 20-something chapters, something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would literally do that. I would be just drawing away, like, for my audience. But then again, it's like drawing takes so much time. And I obviously know that drawing, coloring, illustrating, all this stuff is digital now. But, like, all this stuff, even while digitalized, still takes hours upon hours just to get one chapter done. And obviously, it isn't like Shonen Jump, where every week you'll get, like, one new bit of that new thing, because Shonen Jump, they're crazy with that shit. Alright, keep that in mind. They were doing this every week for eons with Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Dragon Ball. Like, they were all in that Shonen Jump, Shonen Jump shit, where it's like every week you better make new ones. I don't care what condition you're in. But obviously, Webtoons is different, where it's like, okay, we'll allow you the breaks you need so you can recover, recuperate, love yourself, get yourself some merch if a story pops off on Webtoon, yada, 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 so on and so forth, right? But also keep drawing for us at the pace you want to go, which I respect that in terms of Webtoon. Like, they allow the creators to have breaks, and so on and so forth. But, God, just as a reader, that shit bothers me. I don't ever create my own Webtoon, again, keep in mind, but I know what it's like to have burnout. I know what it's like because I'm a creator myself. Even if I'm not really a Webtoons creator, I know what it's like going through the motions of having so much creativity, then burnout, then not having the energy to do this and that so much. You know what I mean? I don't know. Even I feel like you should really keep at it, even if you're not in the best of like not even at your full power. You know, like for example, I still plow through making streams, even though I'm not feeling it. You know, I'm not feeling like doing it. I still do it because I love it. I love you guys and stuff, and I gotta wait every week for them to get out, even though they already finished like 10 chapters, but I have to pay to get them. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's ridiculous. Exactly. That's another example. These motherfuckers could have 10 chapters behind money, behind pay up type shit, so you can continue the story. That's another reason. I remember Lumine actually had that issue back in the day where there was like over 5 to 6 chapters that you had to pay for in order just to read before everyone else. And I was like, that pisses me off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Excuse me. It's just that I didn't think Webtoons was gonna piss me off like this. By the way, can y'all leave like more likes? I'd appreciate that more than one. I saw like 3, 4, 5 people in here didn't even like the video. No, just kidding. And it's so annoying. Yeah, for real. That's why I'm like, that's also annoying. Like, even not even just one chapter to get to pay for. It could be multiple. It could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chapters. As many as the creators want you, want you to pay for it, for the extra chapters. That shit bothers me too. God, fuck. And that's why I'm like that. It's no wonder why I don't decide to read like webtoon or manga that much anymore, because as soon as I get invested in it, I get out of it. Manga's a little different. I have to make it my experience reading manga some other time, but to boil it down in this video, if I ever do or don't, the reason I stopped reading manga is a completely different reason from why I stopped reading webtoon. I stopped reading manga because obviously I was getting less and less into anime, and obviously when you get less and less into anime, you don't really think about reading the manga. So because of that, I wasn't really reading too many mangas, you know what I mean? And when I was reading manga, um, I didn't like I didn't like how reading. I mean, I did like reading left to right. That wasn't a problem. But all the text boxes, especially in One Piece's case, where to read first, in terms of their 5, 6 billion text box on the screen, I was like, I fucking hate this. I would rather read Dragon Ball because of how simple it is. I never lose sight of where I read next type stuff. That's why I'm like, I just only read certain manga and I call it quits. Because, but that's another reason why I just don't read, is because other than like English books, or the way how English books are, where it's like right to left, you know, or something. Because, or that's why I don't even read, because I get invested in it. It's fucking over by the time I want to invest. That is why I don't bother when reading stuff anymore. That's why I'm more into the video game realm, because when you get that video game, it is everything about that game in that package. All right. Pawn TT, can you react to my channel? Someday, I don't know when, but someday, maybe, I don't know. But that's why I don't read. That's why I love playing video games instead, because I'm just that type of person. I would rather want to see what the game or what the thing has all the way through than only see a part of it and wait till next week. Now, again, with reading shit, and it could arguably be the same for anime, right? Because I feel this way with anime. The reason why I stopped watching anime was because I was getting less invested in anime, and I didn't care really much about One Piece. I didn't care really much about a lot of other anime. So I stopped watching anime altogether because I knew what it was like. Unlike the video game, that's everything in that package. An anime, you have to wait a week for one new episode. And yes, I started watching One Piece again, but still, my point still stands. I still hate that shit, that I have to wait a long period of time. But at least with anime and manga, they're always been like that. There is no way you can buy the next chapter, unlike webtoon stories. Okay, like if you know what I mean. Like when you read a manga or an anime, you have to wait till next week on that said date or and day for that new chapter or new anime episode to release. You see, again, with Webtoon, there is a possibility of you having to buy more than one chapter. So you're not even gonna get the new chapter for free. You have to wait a period of time to get those said chapters that people had to pay money for to see it outright, right from the jump, just to see. People that are waiting that don't spend money on Webtoon have to wait even longer for those fucking locked chapters to be free on the app. That's another thing why I hate Webtoon, like reading Webtoon and just not even getting into it. I just rather would play a fucking video game. I would rather just sit there and play Punch Out all day because at least that game is fucking finished. I don't have to wait periods of time. I didn't have to wait. The game already came out before I was born, but still my point is I don't have to fucking wait. I can finish the content all in there if I just wanted to. Fuck. Fucking hate Webtoon, man. For that. For that alone. I feel so much better now letting that shit out because I remember, like you said, I was reading Webtoon. Like I came back to Webtoon last night and just feeling that same anger and anguish from back then, to now with this app and with its stories really bothered me. And I'm actually glad I have a platform I can sit. By the way, welcome Lucas, welcome Dachi to the stream. I can sit and have a platform and just talk about whatever I need to get out there. By the way, I'm going to be probably streaming not right after this, but maybe like pretty soon. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this. Again, Webtoon, I love you. I care about you. But you really make me not want to read any more stories like that ever again. Or even just get invested in stories. Other than like in a manga or anime form or a video game adaptation of that shit. But yeah, that's my experience reading fucking Webtoon. It's so shit. I think the only thing for Webtoon comic is Nerd and Jock. Nerd and Jock, that was another thing. I used to read that on Twitter all the time. For example, Omni Omniscient Reader Point of View have 227, and you have to pay to unlock 27 chapters, and I have paid $50 for it. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Fuck no. For a fucking book, for a book series, I'm good. I'd rather do one purchase for a video game, and that's final, and then I have it for the rest of my life. Instead of having to have to do the $50 over and over and over again. You can forget that. But see you guys later in a few hours. We're gonna probably do a video game of something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. For now, I need to fucking calm down and go watch some shit because I am pissed. I am pissed at Webtoon right now. Just need to calm down a bit. But again, see you guys next time. Thank you for allowing me to have this freaking rant about freaking Webtoon. Y'all the best.